can't remember an ovation quite like that since I told the administration that I was not going to coach anymore. This is truly a great honor. The last time I was inducted into anything, I was sent to boot camp. So far, this is a little nicer. It's always nice to receive an award, no matter how much you paid for it. My biography was pretty cool. I didn't know it would sound that good when I wrote it for our principal. So, when I heard that I was going into the Hall of Fame, I went to Father Dick Cobb, a good friend of mine, and I said, "Cobber, do you really think that I deserve this fantastic honor?" And he said, "Not really, Gary, but Mike Janda and Patrick Schneider aren't eligible to go in yet." I appreciate your candor, Father. Seriously, I am deeply humbled to join such a talented group. I want to congratulate the other inductees tonight, and most importantly, all of my former players who are the real reason that I am up here right now. Every one of them are responsible for me receiving this honor. This was a total 21-year team effort, and I greatly appreciate your contribution to the career that you guys enabled me to have. I remember when our alumni director, John Callan, came to me and said, "Gary, I have some really good and impressive news. When your name came up before the Hall of Fame committee, it was the first time in 42 years that we ever had a unanimous vote." I said, "Thank you, John, that is impressive." And John said, "Yes, it is." But then Father Sheridan stood up and said he was overruling the committee's vote and I was going to be inducted anyway. Thank you, Father Sheridan. And thank you, John, for sharing this story. The talent pool that I was blessed with was unreal. My biggest task was to stay out of their way and try not to screw them up. I wish I could say that happened all the time, but it did not. I tried to overcoach on numerous occasions, and that hurt the team, and I apologize for that. I had so much talent to choose from that our inter-squad games were just as tough as a WCAL game. About 2 months ago, I was at a cocktail party, and I'm up at the bar, and I hear this guy talking to his buddy, and he says, and I quote, "Did you hear where Cunningham is going into the Bellarmine Hall of Fame? What a joke. With all the talent he had, I could have won twice as many WCAL and CCS championships." So I tapped the gentleman on the shoulder and I said, "You might be right, Father Wade." But I know I can feel better batting practice. You didn't know I was listening, did you?
Regular.
Yes.
Interesting fact. Did you know that in the last 70 years, there have been only 6 varsity baseball head coaches? And that also holds true for football. The last 70 years, 6 head coaches in football and baseball at Bellarmine. I am very proud to be associated with these talented men. Bob Faggio, Rich Freitas, Leo Ruth, Don Artizzoni, and the current head coach, Mike Rodriguez. Now that's an impressive group of men. I also want to apologize to all the student athletes that I had to cut, or players who didn't get to play as much as they would have liked, or anyone who didn't have a positive Bellarmine baseball experience. I'm sorry if that occurred. That was definitely not my intent. I want to thank all the men who coached the Frosh, JV, and varsity teams during my tenure, especially some of my coaches, Tony Sortino, Scott Swenson, and Brian Vieira. All of you helped make Bellarmine baseball one of the elite high school programs in Northern California. And I do thank all you coaches from the bottom of my heart. Finally, to all the players I had the great pleasure to coach, and parents that I have interacted with over the years. We had a lot of wonderful victories and some heartbreaking defeats. Mostly from that group of coaches that are at that back table, the ones surrounded with barbed wire. Former SI, Valley Christian, and current Bellarmine baseball coach, Ted Turkington. From Lynbrook High School, and a 1965 Bellarmine grad, Mr. Bob Grover, who defeated me and my Bells in my first game as Bellarmine head coach back in February of 1988. and Archbishop Mitty head coach Bill Hutton, who defeated me and my Bells in my last game at Bellarmine in May of 2008. It's always nice to have the first game and the last game and those coaches here tonight. Very, very good friends. Guys, I still wake up screaming at the tough games we play. As I said before, I had so many wonderful young men to coach, but none brought me more enjoyment than being able to coach my three sons, Kevin, Kelly, and Patrick, along with my nephew, Mike Grover, and close family friends, Kevin Madden and Kevin Franzen. Great times, fun memories. I would also like to thank my Jesuit friends, especially Father Ed Reese, who hired me in August of 1987, and all my Bellarmine colleagues who have made it such a joy to come to work every day the last 25 years. Last but not least, to the special people at my table tonight, Leo and Cheryl Ruth, Judy Alessandri, Father Jerry Wade, my oldest son Kevin, class of 1991, unfortunately could not be here tonight because he's now living in Brazil and is currently fighting extradition back to the United States. So bad. Long story. My middle son, Kelly John, class of 1993, and his wonderful wife, Shannon, along with my two beautiful granddaughters, 4-year-old Jalen, and 3-month-old baby Ashley. Also my youngest son, Patrick, class of 2001, who is currently an assistant varsity baseball coach at Barker Academy. And last but not least, my #1 partner, both on and off the tennis courts, the lovely Carol Gerardo. In conclusion, many have asked, so Gary, with all that great talent, year in and year out, why would you want to stop coaching baseball at Bellarmine? Well, the two biggest reasons were, one, I just hated having to make difficult cuts every year. It just wore me down. And two, the constant death threats from the Jesuit community. And lastly, thanks for putting up with my quirky coaching for over 2 decades. I really loved it, and I am so glad I could spend this very special evening with so many of my dear friends. Peace be with all of you, and as always, go Bells.